I'm going to give you the only hiring framework you will need in 2025. The exact framework we use to hire over 2,000 people from over 40 different countries. Most founders throw a random job post online and then wonder why they keep hiring B players who drain their time, money, and energy. The truth is, A players don't just apply. You have to know exactly who you need, where to find them, and how to test them before payroll hits. In this video, you're gonna learn 1, define roles that attract killers and repel time wasters. 2, filtering and testing candidates before wasting any time on interviews. And 3, onboarding properly so you can get the fastest results. Follow this and you'll never waste another dollar on the wrong hire. Let's dive in. Most founders hire reactively. They're drowning in work, they have no idea how or where to delegate, and they're consistently wasting time working on the wrong thing instead of working on their business and growing and continuously scaling. The first win you want to get when it comes to remote hiring is get clarity. You want to start with defining the outcomes, not just tasks. For example, you don't want someone that's just going to be going through your email all day. You want them to potentially respond to those emails, maybe set up appointments, maybe move appointments to a different time. Whatever that case is, for example, if that was for an executive assistant. Do not just give them tasks, because these people, and A players specifically, are not just task takers, they are task owners, which means that they own the task and they look forward to knowing what the outcome is going to be and what is their KPI. That is how an A player thinks. It's not just about getting the job done, but it's how it got done, why it got done, and how it can get done even better. Another example of this would be if you hire a social media manager and you want them to help you with posting content, getting higher engagement, getting more comments, helping you with script writing. Maybe they also edit videos. So the opposite of that would be post an Instagram video. That is an order taker, right? Rather than post an Instagram video that's going to generate X amount of views that can help us get X amount of leads. And with that, we're gonna send those leads to the appointment center to get on a call and potentially schedule them for an appointment with our sales team, right? That is an actual outcome that can happen whenever you hire an appointment setter, okay? Or specifically a social media manager. The next thing is the scorecard. And you can look at the scorecard similarly to the outcome, except you can get a lot more detailed about the KPI and other things. I like to use the scorecard as a KPI guide to give people an expectation and really myself before I hire anybody. Because after this is the non-negotiables. You want to create a list of your non-negotiables. So here's a great example. So sometimes a non-negotiable could be their English speaking level, right? For example, if I have a closer or a setter, I don't want them to be able to not speak English almost fluently. But my video editor or like a project manager, yes, they have to have high-level English comprehension, but if they have a very thick accent and I can still fully understand them and they fully understand me, I don't really care that they have a thick accent. Where if someone gets on the phones and they're speaking to American business owners or American customers that are not used to a very thick accent, is going to throw off that market and it's going to derail and hurt the business, right? Now, if you hire someone that has a thick accent and nobody understands them and it's hard for them to understand anything, that's also bad. Right? So what is the level of English comprehension you're looking for? Because when you hire virtual assistants or offshore talent, it is super duper important for you to have an understanding of, number one, different roles have a different level of English expectation and need. And number two, what is the day-to-day of this person going to look like? Is it going to be on sales calls? Is it going to be setting appointments? Is it going to be doing customer service? Because if it's not, someone with a thick accent that has great English comprehension, it doesn't really matter if they have an accent or not. So the next part to this is where so many founders make mistakes and talk to the wrong candidates and waste so much time, whether it's blasting different platforms or truly speaking to candidates who never truly interested them. It's almost like going on a date with someone that you are absolutely not attracted to, has a horrible personality, and you hate everything about her or him. That would be insane, right? So we want to make sure that we start analyzing and strategizing around what happens here so that way we can avoid this. And the only people we ever talk to are truly qualified candidates. Is everybody going to be 100,000% qualified and going to be perfect? Absolutely not. If you expect perfection, expect failure. So firstly, you want to make sure that if you're using different platforms, that you're not just using one platform. For example, don't only use LinkedIn, even though LinkedIn is great. I recommend using LinkedIn and Facebook groups, and even our marketplace. If you go to app.remotelaatinos.com, we have over 6,000 candidates that are pre-qualified on there. You want to diversify your lead sources. This is something that I learned when I was operating inside of an agency. One of the most important things is to have multiple channels to book appointments, right? Don't just rely on referrals. Don't just rely on paid ads, but you want to rely on multiple sources. If you do rely on referrals, awesome. Add in different platforms like LinkedIn, like app.remotelaatinos.com, the marketplace that we built, or even Facebook groups, right? And guess what? LinkedIn also has groups in there, and it's very, very underrated. Now, you want to create a filtering form. Okay, this filtering form is going to be about 10 to 20, maybe even 30 questions for this person to submit before any of the process truly starts. And this is going to start with basic information down to specific questions about the industry, experience, anything else that you want to know. It's almost like you're pre-qualifying them before you get on the call. Now, doing this part probably takes the most amount of time, but this is the part that will save you the most amount of time. And if you don't have the time to do this right now and you would rather just outsource this completely, this is exactly what we do at Remote Latinos. We actually have been able to pre-vet over 50,000 applicants in the last several years, which is why we've been able to hire over 2,000 people out of that list. So if you're looking to bring in an A player to your company and now go through this whole process I'm about to go through with you, then this is exactly what you want to do. You want to go to remotelaatinos.com, schedule a call with our team, and let us help you find your next offshore team member. Inside of this filtering, the last two things that this person has to do after they finish the questionnaire is they want to submit a video that's going to be between 60 to 180 seconds, so just a couple minutes, talking about themselves, their experience, their resume, why they're a good fit. I usually create about 5 to 10 questions that they have to answer. They have to answer these questions on the video so I can actually see them, I can hear their English, I can see their setting, and I'm excited, right? The more professional the video is, the more likely they're someone that I potentially would want to do business with. I don't mind doing selfie videos, but I obviously prefer someone to be in front of the camera. And then the last thing is the resume, right? So then they submit their resume. At this point now I have their form submitted, their video submitted, their resume submitted. Okay, now here's the cool part, guys. 80 to 90% of people won't go through the process. And out of the people that do go through the process, their video or their resume are not good for you, right? They're just not what you're looking for. Maybe it's their English, maybe it's their lack of experience, their lack of skill, whatever the case is. So you're literally filtering out so many people by doing this. And let's say you have 5 people go through this. Well, now you have 5 people that are serious. You have 5 people that you feel like are a good fit. And before you interview them, what you want to do is you want to create 2 tests. One of the tests is already created for you. It's a personality test. I recommend doing DISC assessment or 16 personalities. It takes about 10 to 15 minutes to complete both, and it gives you a little bit of more perspective about this person. I don't die on this hill, but I do recommend doing it just to find out a little bit more about this person. It's something that you can address on the interviews if they do it. The next one is the skill test. This is by far the most important thing. I recommend doing a skill test based on the last 30 days of their work. So for example, if they're an appointment setter, I'm going to look at what does an appointment setter do in my company, and I'm going to create a skill test around this. If I'm hiring an executive assistant, what would or what is an executive assistant already doing in my company? And I'm going to create something around this skill test, right? You can talk to ChatGPT and you can create skill tests, and ChatGPT will give you a lot of different maybe scenarios, maybe ideas for you to be able to craft something that makes sense. Do not just create a random skill test that has nothing to do with your current job and your current company, right? It might be an executive assistant test, but if they're never going to do this with you, what a waste of your time and their time. Have them do something that actually makes sense. Here's another example. When I'm hiring a video editor, I have them edit an actual video that I'm going to use, right? Maybe I've already used it in the past, but I'm going to use this video. I didn't just create some BS video, me talking about something that doesn't matter with business-wise. I have created so many different business videos, and I have them recreate it, or I should say edit it, whether it's short form, long form, and usually a skill test should not take more than an hour. Hiring isn't the end. It's the beginning. The ROI comes after they sign. So before we get into one of my favorite plans to go over with you guys, I want to go over the onboarding plan because it's super important, super crucial that we onboard this person properly. We like to do 2 onboardings in our company. One is a role onboarding and one is a company-wide onboarding. Company-wide onboarding is for every person that ever gets onboarded. However, role, while we have it for every single department, it is very role specific. It is where this person gets to shadow who's going to be either their manager or the person that's going to be training them. It's a very important, intense onboarding because this is where we go over everything they need to know about the role. And on this onboarding is where we create the 30, 60, 90 game plan. Because although they're here and I'm excited that they're going to be a part of our company, but we now have to set clear, crystal clear expectations with them about how things are going to go, what is about to happen. Okay. And I tell them very clearly, like, look, you're here and I want you to stay here until you've proved yourself here. Over time, everything's on a month-to-month basis. Just like I have to level up the company as a CEO, I have to bring in cash. I have to find new partnerships. I have to invest as much as I can into this company. I expect the same from you. The difference between you and me is that you only have to worry about your job and your day-to-day. I have to worry about everything and everyone. Now, thankfully, we're at the level where I have leaders and I have people to help me. But overall, I have $50,000 per month in payroll that I have to account for every single month, no matter what. Some people celebrate getting the job more than keeping the job rather than actually getting the job done and improving the role and hitting their KPIs and going above their KPI and going above and beyond and really, really crushing it. On a regular basis, we're going to be doing check-ins, we're going to be doing trainings, we're going to be having reporting every day. We have end of day reports, end of week, and end of month reports on a regular basis. And this is where I get to see what this person's like. And in the first week, we have very simple guideline. It's normally training, obviously they do the onboarding, they understand what we're doing and what's going to be happening here over the next several months. Because as we enter week 2 and week 3, I expect them to start doing the job and I expect them to start hitting some KPIs. By the time we get to month 2, they've been here for a month. They know what needs to be happening and they know now the job's on the line, in a sense, in a good way, not in a bad way where they're going to get fired immediately. But now it's where the pressure starts, because the first month there's really, I don't want to say there's no pressure, but there's a lot less pressure. The most pressure was during the interviews. And then now you got the job, you're just training, as long as you show up and you take notes and you do what you're supposed to, which is not hard, you're going to be fine. It's month 2, month 3 is when things really start kicking in, and that's where the reporting comes in. So guys, here's the thing. I went over a lot. And I want to say this again. If you want to hire offshore A players and you don't want to go through this whole process by yourself, head over to remotelynos.com, have my team speak with you so that way we can help you find exactly what it is you're looking for. I'm really excited for you guys to be able to watch this video and learn. I actually made many more videos on this topic in different ways, specifically talking about how to hire a commission-based setter. So check that out on my YouTube, and I appreciate you watching, and I'll see you on the other side. Os.